So we're doing the weekly Melbourne racing review, thanks to topsport.com.au, and I'm joined as per every week by Trevor Lawson. How are you, Trev?
Good, Mark. Good.
Yeah, we'll have a good look at Saturday's meeting at Caulfield, which was headlined by the Easter Cup, and then also yesterday, Easter Monday, we had a meeting at Sandown where I had a few bets, so I might just have a quick look at that as well. But we'll start on Saturday at Caulfield, and we might just start with race 2, which was over the 1100 for the fillies and mares. Mystery Love was the winner for Mick Price and Damien Oliver at $6 from Prophet's Thumb and Beautiful Flyer. I think you had the winner basically right on the bone by the look of it.
Just over here, I think I had $7, and I think it was sort of, yeah, they bet 6. Someone might have bet a bit better, or Betfair might have been slightly a bit better, but pretty much.
Top Sport bet 7 at the depth by the look.
Yeah, so it's pretty similar to market with most of the horses. Wasn't sort of any standout bets, so we sort of stayed out. The winner was resuming from a spell. It's slightly raced and sort of it's got winning ways. It was sort of good. Oliver sort of when they slowed down, he got to get around. He got to skip around them at about the 500 and sort of put it in the race. Second horse, Prophet's Thumb. It's a horse that hasn't got a lot of speed early, and it's settled sort of 3 back to the fence in the small field, and it had an interrupted run in the straight, so he was sort of unlucky, but he's one of those horses that's sort of going to find bad luck a little bit because of the way it sort of races. Beautiful Flyer sort of did what it does. Angiana was sort of well held, and Acting sort of got knocked over at about the 150 when Mystery Love was sort of going to the front, but then sort of jury's out with it. Sort of it's been up for a while now, so I think the winner can win again, and the second horse was unlucky, and it's probably a race for it. They're probably the 2 to take out of the race.
Most of the horses now will be looking at by the looks of it, a bit of a late autumn into winter campaign. You think, in terms of the class of horses?
Yeah, I think most will do with the horses that aren't sort of highest quality. I think they'll just keep racing them for as long as they can race them in case we sort of get shut down. So they'll at every opportunity they get to race, they'll just race. So Mystery Love's got some sort of ability, I suppose. In a normal world, it probably would have headed to Adelaide at some stage. It may well still do, but he can sort of pick up some races in Melbourne, sort of open mares races and things like that. So
no worries, sounds good.
So I was just going to say, it did win on the minimum, so it can sort of win another couple of those before it gets up too high in the weights.
Okay, we'll jump over to race 4, which was benchmark 78 over the 1100. Too good, too hard for Philip Stokes. The winner at $5 from Sam's Image and Barcelona. Just looking at your market, quite a few overlays here, but the winner not one of them, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately not. No, it's all around it. We're on the second horse. Second horse, they bet pretty good odds early on. The winner, I sort of just had it a bit long on the market. It improved off its sort of first up run, probably just improved a bit more than I thought it might have. The second horse is honest, but he sort of doesn't really win. I've sort of been on him a bit. He's just one of those horses that he rates quite well, and you can make excuses for him sometimes. And I mean, sometimes you finish up making excuses too many times for that type of horse. Vassilator was good. It ran on from the back. It generally races up on the speed. Cigar was okay for sort of weaker class sort of race, and wasn't sort of much in the race. So back to a couple of resumers, Mastering, Morrissey. They were sort of both well beaten. So it was sort of a losing race, but sort of only, sort of Sam's gave us a run for our money. But I don't think there's a lot going forward out of the race. Sort of Sam's Image, that's about what it does. And the winner was good. It can probably improve maybe a little bit more.
Okay, No worries. Sounds good. We'll jump over again to race 6, which was over the 1,200 metres. Order of command for Danny O'Brien and Damien Oliver at $9.50 from Vassilator and Reykjavik. I think, again, you basically had the winner pretty much right on your price by the look of it.
Yes, I had. There wasn't a lot of value sort of pre-race. You would have had to be on a lot of horses, so we were sort of around the mark with the winner. Reykjavik would have had slide overs. Vinland I sort of had longer than the market. Turbian, I had it longer than the market. It was sort of well beaten. So there wasn't a sort of lot you could sort of back in the race, but the winner was super impressive and defied his price. Sort of the way the race was run and the way it went, you would have thought it was, it should have been favourite in the race. He said just off the speed and was impressive. The second horse ran home terrific. You can see here on the punting form times things. He ran home in second quickest last 200 of the day, third quickest last 400 of the day. So, and he sort of went 4 lengths quicker than, that class of horse does on average on that type of track. So he's probably in for a good prep for Vassilator. Reykjavik was okay. Vinland, I think going forward, it's just a horse we can follow. It sort of did, the way the race was run, it didn't have much chance. It sort of hit the line quite nicely. And I think 1,600 metres with a, soft 5 to sort of slow, 7 type track, it's sort of something to bet on in the next couple of runs. Reykjavik was okay as well, and the winner, Order of Command, he can win again.
All right, so Order of Command, Vassilator and Vinland all pretty good out of that race?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Race 7 was the feature, the Group 3 Easter Cup over the 2,000. Inverloch for Bussetton and Young, the stable in form. The winner at $4.20 from Midterm and Savacool.
Yes.
You backed Inverloch early, I think.
I sent it out as a bet, but I sent it out as a best of the best bet for the Trev's Best members and the others. So in the end, it sort of wasn't on it. It was heavily backed early on, and then it got to the betting, and it was sort of $5.50 into $4.20 with when the sort of pattern came around. So I sort of didn't get a chance to get on it. It's unfortunate. It's just one of those things that happens sometimes. But there was plenty of sort of $7 in the morning around about it. So we were sort of left with Secret Blaze, which in the end was sort of disappointing. It sort of got out in the market, and we're on a couple of other horses, and that was it. So I sort of wanted to be on it. I identified it as a solid second pick, and it sort of did a good. It was sort of it was suited by the way the pattern had been and the track, and he was able to lead all the way. And even though it won by a small margin, it was sort of a couple of lengths in front going past the sort of 200, and only just tied the last bit. So it was really never going to get beat. Midterm, second horse, it returned to some sort of form. It had been going legless, and Savacool was honest. Stacey Bond, it sort of does what he does, but doesn't sort of win. And then Secret Blaze, probably the ground probably pulled it up a little bit. Haliver Street didn't run the trip. And Selsamore had won its previous 3 starts. It was well beaten. It's probably just come to the end of its tether and probably just needs a slight break. But the winner, he's just rock hard fit, and he could win again if he can find the same conditions at sort of 2,000 metres, 2,400. He'll just sort of keep going around. So he's probably something you could, if there's another race for him in the next couple of weeks.
Sure. Okay, sounds good. Race 8 we'll have a look at, which was the Group 3 also over the 1,400. Bam's on Fire for Mara and Eustace, who had winners all over Australia on Saturday. They got the win at $5 from Seabrook and Sir Coney.
Yeah, this race here, I couldn't get Wild Planet, which was the early favourite. I couldn't get it anywhere near the price that it was, but also I couldn't get the winner anywhere near the price. I'm not sure what sort of rating they used for it, because I sort of had it $8, and the market sort of had it $5, and it was well backed. The pattern suited it by finding the front and everything, but basically 1, 2, 3 in the run ran 1, 2, 3. So the winner was good, but yeah, I sort of, I don't know, I missed something there and didn't sort of find it. But it ran about sort of how it does. Seabrook ran how he does. Sir Coney, sort of it's improved. It's sort of been in the wilderness for a fair while. Manola Blahnik and Spanish Whisper ran okay, but they can generally run sort of better than that normally. And the favourite was, I think maybe when the wet track came in, it sort of obviously, was sort of didn't really suit it, because it was pretty legless and finished up getting beat 10 lengths.
This is Wild Planet.
Wild Planet, yeah. So the winner is, honest, and if it gets the same conditions again, it'll be hard to beat. The second horse, Seabrook, that's 2 runs it's had back from a long spell. It's gone terrific both runs, so he can probably improve again going through the prep.
Okay, and race 9, the last of the day, was over the mile. Kentucky Breeze got the win at $10 from Sikandarabad and Super Titus. Sorry. How did you see the race?
So this race, it was sort of funny sort of race. Masculino was well in the race on ratings, and early on was, I think it was as much as $21 was bet early in the week. And then it got to the start of the race, and it was $6 into $4.40. So it was heavily backed, but sort of wasn't suited. Fildea was favourite, but sort of didn't like it. Preble decided, it's normally a get back horse. Preble decided to take it to the front. That sort of ruined its chances. So it was sort of well beaten. There wasn't a lot in the race I sort of wanted to back. The winner, I think he just had the right run and everything else fell over. They did run a very slow last 200. So for the day, they ran 13.1, which was quite slow. So the winner sat back off them, and I thought it probably needed another run, the winner. But I think just because it's sort of a 2,000 metre race, it was sort of just strong. The last bit, Serenkabad was home for all money in the run, and then it just decided to go up and down the one spot for the last 100. So Kentucky Breeze and then Super Titus and Rising Red, they sort of got a lot closer than they sort of normally would. So you can see that the winner, the winner's Kentucky Breeze, it's made up a lot of ground. So it's made up 2.5 lengths in the last 200. See here on the second horse, but still only ran like the 34th quickest last 200 of the day.
Right.
So you can see they were going pretty slow the last bit. It had rained again significantly. That's the one thing going out of this meeting too. Like it sort of rained off and on all day. We sort of had hail at stages, and I think by the time we got this race, it was sort of a bit wet again. So the winner will be the horse that take out of the race. He's a nice 2,000 metre horse, so he can definitely win again. I think Serenkabad got shown up for having a bit of meow in it. Calais did everything he could and still couldn't get across the line. Super Titus ran on okay. And Rising Red is probably in for a good prep. It resumed quite well. Masculino, it was well graded in this race, but traditionally it does take a couple of runs, so it's probably one that we can sort of follow as we get into winter as well. If we can find a nice 2,000 metre race on a wet track.
Okay, so Kentucky Breeze, Rising Red, and Masculino probably the horses to watch there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think going into this winter season.
So the meeting overall, as you said, it was a bit tricky because there was sort of rain at different parts, and then some races you could barely see the gates, and then others it was bright sunshine, typical Melbourne style. So
yeah, well, it hailed prior to the first race, and then watching the replay of race, if anyone watches the replay of race 6 on racing.com, you can hardly work out who's who until the camera angle changes at about the 500. So the first 700 metres, it's hard to see who's who in the run. So we've had sort of 2 Caulfield meetings like that recently, where we've just sort of had rain during the day and or rain the night before and stuff like that. So, and I think this week might be something similar. I think it's going to rain again Thursday. So hopefully we don't get too much and the tracks get to dry out a bit.
Yes, obviously the last few weeks with Caulfield, there's been a bit of talk about the track and how it's playing, but also the policy where they have to be a little bit softer to start off doesn't sound like it's helping.
It wasn't that bad. So this is a bias report that runs on all the horses. So from punting form here, so we can see, so in the barriers, so 2 horses won from barriers 1 to 3, 4 horses drew 4 to 7, and 3 horses drew 8 to 24. So that's pretty consistent. At the 400 metre mark, 3 winners were on the fence at the 400, and 5 winners were 5 to 7. So sort of like this for that. It's not a lot in it. At the 800, 4 horses were on the fence, and 3 horses were 3 and 4 wide. So I think the thing you wanted to be is you wanted to be forward in the run. So here, 6 of the winners at the 600 were forward in the run. But that's traditionally Caulfield, because you've only got like a 320 metre straight or something like that. So, that's traditionally Caulfield. We have, they have been aerating the tracks during the summer so that they don't have to put as much water on. But, when you do get significant rain, I don't think that makes, what you've been doing before, much different to it. So it's raced pretty well. Sandown races, the same. When you've got horses of similar ability, it's just obvious that the horse that settles in front, is going to be the hardest to beat, because he's already, you got 2 horses of similar ability and one's in front of the other one. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, so just because the leaders win all that, doesn't mean that it's a mad leaders track, or it's this or that, or it's whatever. So traditionally, when the inside is not inferior to out wider, then it's the shortest way home. When they run the 800 metre races at the Olympics, no one wants to sit 3 and 4 wide. They all want to sit closest to the inside, because it's the shortest way home. So horse racing's no different.
Yeah, interesting. We might just jump quickly over to Sandown on Monday and just look at a couple of races, because you had a few bets there, which was a pretty successful day in the end. So they were on the lakeside yesterday at Sandown. We'll just have a look at race 3, because I know you had a bet there. It was over the 1200, benchmark 70 for the 3-year-olds, I think. Final Man, the one you liked, was about sort of 360, 370 early, and then got backed in and got the job done from Alberk and Sovereign Legend.
It was sort of one of those, it was 420, I think, right on 9 o'clock, sort of $4, and then it sort of shortened up, and then got into sort of 360, 370, and then there was another wave for it. And then the official betting, I think the best they bet was about $3.
Yeah, yeah.
But it won narrowly from El Burke, but I think the kid made the blue of, he just went a bit too slow. I think if he'd gone quicker, he would have won by further. And I think, but it's a nice horse. It's won sort of 3 of its last 4. So, Pakenham have produced a good figure. I haven't done the rating from yesterday as well, yesterday thing, but it definitely could win again. And, it's only won a 3-year-old benchmark 70. So, going through winter, it obviously handles wet tracks. It was quite solid. The third horse was a bit of a spruik on it early on, and it was friendless in the betting. So it was $4.80 out to $9. But going forward, the second horse resumed well. Hadn't really been on that sort of tracks before, but handled it quite well. So it's probably in for a good prep. And second horse, the winner's been up for a while, but if he keeps sort of racing in this sort of class and in this sort of ground, it can win again.
No worries. And just wanted to have a quick look at race 7 from Sandown as well, because had a pretty good result there. Vassilator for Hayes and Dabenig won at SP at $6 from Stravain and Sophia's Choice. So but as I said, SP at $6, but there's a bit better available, and it's a good winner for you. And I know you had plenty of overlays across the field, so good race to bet in.
Yeah, well, this is one of those races where, when you sort of do a market and you sort of got your market, and it's like, well, Sophia's Choice, I had it much longer than the market. The market sort of had it in the threes range. I had it like $5. Hit of the Fox was again in the $4 to $4.40 range. I had it $11. So we were able to back some roughies early and a couple other horses, and then as things got to drift, I originally had the winner $6, and it opened up $4. It's like, oh, we're not backing it. And then it was a significant drifter, as was the second horse. I marked the second horse $9, and it went up 7, and then it got to 11. They might have been 13 or something like that, and I know the winner, I took some $8 on Betfair at one stage. So that's just sort of the beauty of, having a market and just waiting, and then just as sort of bets become available, you're on them. So, in the morning, we weren't going to be on 1 and 2, first and second, and in the end, we we're on them both, and they both were, reasonable results. So it was sort of good. We just sort of bet in the 2 races and back the 2 winners. The winner of the race before, I sort of stayed out of that race. Probably should have played, but sort of had it $10. I think it Betfair SP about $21. So some members were on it. But, So excuse me. Probably going forward, I've probably been leaving a few races alone that, originally you think you weren't going to bet, but the market just moves around so much nowadays, and you're not sort of so sure what's going on that, if you're sort of confident in your prices, there's going to be a little bit of value. So hopefully we can find a bit more going forward.
Yeah, very valuable, those rated prices when the market's moving around. Just tells you exactly where you can have a go.
Yeah, well, I think that's it's the first thing you learn when you talk to, when I first started out, when I spoke to successful people, is that they all did prices, and it's not so much about finding winners. You see a lot of tipsters and it's like, oh, I like this and I like that and whatever, but the successful people not so much I like this. It's like, well, I've got this price, I've got this price, that, and it's all about value, or, and taking knowing what price something should be, and then knowing what's good value and what's not bad, and what's bad value, and that's sort of the way to be successful in this game.
Yeah, and you can, as we saw with race 7, we were just talking about when you're happy to oppose one or a couple that maybe are in the market. Obviously, it creates value elsewhere, so it gives us some opportunity to maybe have 3, 4, 5 horses running for us at good odds.
Yeah, well, in theory, Sophie's Choice was favourite at I think it ran $3 for argument's sake. So the market likes it, but basically the market's saying in 100 races that Sophie's Choice is going to get beat 67 times.
Yeah.
Out of 100. And some people think, oh, this horse is 2 to 1. It'll just win. It's a 2 to 1. That's short odds. But when you look it back the other way and go, well, but 67 times the market said it was going to get beat, and it sort of likes it. So yeah, if you can sort of accurately price it, so the market said it was going to get beat 67 times. I thought it was going to get beat 80 times. So it's not like you don't like them. It's just that you're betting on occurrences of how many times this horse can win. So if you think it's under the odds and you can find some sort of value, that's when you sort of play, and that's when you can attack. When you think you got the odds in your favour.
Yeah, absolutely. And your market's at 90%, I think. So
there's a 90%
in there anyway.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about 100% and all that, but I think find most that bet you want sort of some sort of premium when you price. So
yeah,
in theory for mine, I would, if I could back every horse, I'd outlay $90 and I'd get back 100. So I'd be making $10 each race. Where if you're doing it to 100%, all you're doing is getting your money back. In an ideal world, going back 15 years ago, you used to be able to do the markets to 85%. And they were fantastic. I spoke to a couple of pros years ago. They used to do them to about 83. So that gives you a margin over the bookies and all that sort of stuff. But nowadays, at about 83 and 85, you'd hardly have a bet. 90 just gives you some sort of premium. So it's just like saying, well, I've marked this $3, but I want $3.20 because I want some sort of value. So people will do that, but they'll do it with 100% market, where I can just sort of go, well, I'll leave it at 90. So the $3 shot I've actually marked at $3.20. Now I can take the $3.20, and I've still got some margin. So that's just the way I've sort of done it, and I sort of like to do it that way.
The maths works.
Pardon me?
The maths works.
Maths work. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, thanks for that. A good look at Saturday and a couple of races yesterday. So good weekend overall. With the meeting yesterday, there's no midweek metro meeting in Melbourne, so I think we're straight into Caulfield on Saturday.
Yeah. So I'm going to have a look at that this afternoon. I'll have a look at Geelong and possibly so we can find some individual races. So there's a meeting Thursday and then Pakenham Thursday night. I haven't really found much recently, but I've got a bit more on my hands now. So I think next week's the same. I think there's no city metro meeting next Wednesday. That's not to say we sort of can't find something along the way, but I think they're back at Caulfield again this Saturday, and then the following Saturday is Anzac Day at Flemington.
Good stuff. All right, thanks for that. We're probably finishing off autumn now and heading into winter, but still finding plenty of value. So we'll keep an eye on things, and we'll chat later in the week.
Great, thanks, Mark. Thank you.